Welcome to CGTN Ambassador Brudeset. Can you give us a quick overview of the Nordic model of governance and how it has improved the lives of the population in your countries, in the Nordic countries, including yours in Norway?
People normally think about it as how we in the Nordic countries do economic policy, welfare policy, and also, for example, family policy. And of course also increasingly now we focus very much on green transition and sustainability. Some of the topics which I think is also of interest to a Chinese audience is of course the family policies that are common in the Nordic countries. For example, our focus on gender equality, our focus on kindergartens, on elderly care, and how we organize our societies to make sure that as a large as possible part of our population can take part in working life. I know that in China, of course, it is very relevant for many younger people how to organize your life, especially when you think about having children and continuing to participate in the working life. The fact that you would like to have kindergartens, you would like to have reasonably priced housing, you would like to see how you can organize your family life in a way that makes sure that you have a good work-life balance. On these issues, I think there are areas where the Nordic countries, and speaking on my behalf from the Norwegian side, and China, not copy each other, but where we can be inspired of the different policies that we have in our countries.
What are your observations on how China is pursuing its policy of common prosperity, and how can China and Norway and other Nordic countries learn from the policies of each other?
I am very much aware that China is now having a focus on what they call the common prosperity. I do think that when it comes to ensuring to reduce inequality in the society, there could be areas also where the Nordic and China have some policies that it could be interesting to study among each other. From a Norwegian point of view, we have had some very good conversations with Chinese experts on pension reform. We also talk to China about green financing. And of course, historically, we have had a long exchange of China when it comes to how to use resources from the energy sector.
One of the major concerns in a hugely populous country like China is its aging population. Can you tell us how has Norway and other Nordic countries dealt with its aging population and the policies regarding working age and pension?
In the Nordic countries, and specifically in Norway, for us, we look at the labor force as maybe our greatest resource. That means that the longer people stay active in working life, the more they can also contribute into working life, and thereby also into the tax base. So in Norway, the general pension age is 67 years, and you could in certain sectors also stay on until you are 70 years. I know that, of course, in China, the pension age is lower, and also the complexities of the systems are something different. But in our perspective, it has been important to have a fairly high pension age to make sure that our people participate in labor life as long as possible.
Given the challenges of globalization and rising inequality, how can the Nordic model address socio-economic disparities and promote social cohesion?
As I say, I don't think it's possible to copy policies from other countries, but it is possible to be inspired from it. Of course, some of the basics in the Nordic model is that we have a high degree of transparency in every policy that is developed. We also have extensive peer review on policies that are developed. And we have a high level of trust in society, both trust in our institutions and trust in society as a whole. And this also helps to bring down the transaction costs and bring the productivity up.